Do you like meat?
Yeah.
Do you not care where it comes from as long as it tastes good and is relatively inexpensive?
Yeah, that's right.
Try Pork Pig, serving the greater Lansing area since 1929. Pork Pig. Cheap, okay, meaty.
Uh-oh.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home and podcast time.
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present a Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam. You all know my co-host, Jordan. How you doing, Jordan?
Hi, Adam. How are you?
I just was leaving you some time to, try something new. Maybe you wanted to introduce yourself or something, but I see you did not take the bait.
You were already introducing me.
I thought you wanted to come in and have a catchphrase or something.
I'm working on my catchphrase.
Yeah.
Just like you're working on getting all those sponsors.
That's right. Yeah, big things. This week's sponsor, Pork Pig. So go ahead and check out their web presence. It's bustling.
Yeah, we probably have a lot of listeners in the Lansing area, so that's going to be a new spot for them.
Maybe a handful. Jordan, how you doing today?
I'm all right. We've got kind of a new recording time, and we're maybe a little bit more loose than we usually are.
New recording time, same recording places.
Yeah, we couldn't move that around. That's just
that's
sacrilege to move that stuff around. So
yeah.
We
are trying it on a Sunday evening, so maybe the tone will be different. But
more serious, more somber, maybe.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Higher quality.
We should pour one out for Al after this episode.
Why?
I think Eileen's gonna kill him.
Oh man, yeah, he's in trouble.
Oh boy.
Jordan, I did something today.
No, you didn't.
Like to talk about? Yeah, I did. You're not gonna believe it, but I did something today.
Something you've never done. Something you've been holding out on for a long time. Is this very similar to like how you refused to play cards when you were younger?
I don't think I was ever kind of in your face about this one in the same way. Maybe I don't know if I was ever in your face about not playing cards. I think
you just walked up to people when they were playing poker.
I gave them the finger.
I don't play these games.
I wore a lot of anti-card shirts,
Yeah.
Cards with the @ symbol.
A lot of House of Cards jokes, making fun of people. Yeah.
Right. No, Jordan, I finally saw the original OG Star Wars, Star Wars: A New Hope, and Obviously, I watch a lot of movies. It's probably obvious I talk about them a lot and studied film in school and stuff. But yeah, I had never seen... I saw one Star Wars in the 2000s with Sam Jackson that I thought was kind of crappy then. So I just assumed that they all were. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a good time.
So what made you hold out all these years? Just it never was on your list, or... Yeah,
I just didn't think I would like it. I didn't really seem like... I knew they weren't going anywhere, so there really wasn't a reason. But I like the looks of this new Han Solo movie coming out with Donald Glover and Woody Harrelson. I like those guys, and I just thought, maybe now is a good time. And in preparation for that, I should try to watch them all. And
so you're going to start binging then?
That's the plan. Yeah, that's the plan. I know that people, it's interesting to watch something that I've just through osmosis kind of heard so much about my whole life. And by the time I watched it, it was different than I thought, but yeah, it was good. It's just funny to watch it and think that people, take it so seriously and love it so much. But I guess that's anything. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we are hosting.
we do a home improvement podcast.
Home improvement.
Right.
You're gonna start blowing up the message boards with all your new fan theories that people have talked about 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I already know, everything's been spoiled or whatever. But what a shame.
Yeah, it's hard to avoid that kind of stuff. But I will say the first Star Wars, much simpler than I imagined it being.
Just a prototypical hero's journey, that's all.
Yeah, not a lot going on. I mean,
just
I thought that,
building up to it.
I thought that Mark Hamill wasn't delivering a great performance. He was kind of annoying and sort of like a little brother. So that was interesting because I'd never really heard any criticism of that.
Oh, but, just wait for it.
Okay, and Harrison Ford was sweet. Obviously, big C-3PO fan, Chewbacca. I mean, they're cool. They're cool.
The standards. R2-D2 kind of steals the show as well. So
yeah, he's cool. I think they should have used subtitles for him. Like when he's beeping, I want to know what he's saying exactly. But maybe that's part of the charm.
Yeah, or I guess they do the Groot treatment. Where Groot says "I am Groot," and then Rocket will explain what he says. Basically,
no one really explains, but you just kind of get it based on the responses.
Context.
Yeah. You got to be an intelligent person to watch Star Wars.
Yeah, you do.
No, I liked it. Yeah, I think we'll probably watch the second one tonight. So.
Oh, well, big night on tap for you. Just like you have to be intelligent to, watch Star Wars, you have to be super intelligent to watch and really get everything that's in the home improvement universe. Mm-hmm, and this episode particularly was highbrow. So we've got episode 90. Bachelor of the Year.
I didn't know where that transition was going to go. I'm glad you landed it, because I thought, what else do you have to be smart to watch? I'd love to know.
I like to extend things out a little bit. So, all right. So this one's written by Rosalind Moore. She did Super Bowl Fever, which I believe was the last episode we covered.
Yeah, I think so.
Just a wonderful, wonderful episode that we both love so much. This one aired February 7th, 1995.
It's my dad's birthday. He would have been 43, so I'm sure we celebrated and watched this episode for his birthday.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, just everybody got the popcorn ready, sat down in front of the TV.
He's like, I don't care where we go to eat as long as we're home in time for Home Improvement.
Don't make me record it, because
it's not what I will. Because I have a lot of VHS tapes. And a lot of markers.
All right. How many alternative titles you got today?
I had an easy time this week.
Okay.
I'm going to cut one of them last minute because I don't think it's worth it. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5.
So you had 6?
Yeah, but I'm cutting it, and I'm not gonna divulge it. So don't even bother asking.
All right. I guess I have 4.
You I like how we might have 6. Might have 4.
I thought about cutting it, but I don't know.
Save it.
This is all on brand for me, so might as well just stick with it. So you can go first.
All right. So title is Bachelor of the Year. My first one is I'll go with this. Come on, Eileen.
All right. No, it's good.
It's the song.
That song always gets stuck in my head. How about?
Well, don't you love Dexy's Midnight Runners? Isn't that's one of your favorite
bands? I have posters all over my wall. You talked about the basketball posters before. Now
Who's your favorite Dexy's Midnight Runners member? Probably Dexy, right?
I was gonna say Toto, but yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
My first one is Irresistible.
Simply irresistible. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my next one is Shuck You, Al.
I shucked them myself.
Ew, yeah.
This is such a weird... Okay, we'll get to that.
It's bizarre, yeah.
Let's talk about Al, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Good. All right, here's my next one.
Good. There was a little bit of delay there. I thought you might say bad.
Well, I'm trying to decide which one I want to read next. All right. And twins.
Oh, man. We are just losers. How about The Handsy Man?
Yeah, good. All right, 2 more for me. Was that your last one?
I got 1 more.
Okay. This is not my best. The most interesting man in Mark's world.
Oh, I was thinking about that myself. Couldn't figure it out. So, way to go there. How about Tim is a tool, man?
You've definitely done that before. Also, no, he's not in this. Well, only sort of. All right, this one you're only sort of. I mean, he isn't, then he is, and then he isn't.
Yeah, he's back and forth.
You're going to like this one. When I wrote this, I thought of you. Ortho, don't test me.
I wish you would do everyone like that.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Those are your favorites. And they come relatively easily for me. Much like pork a pig is relatively inexpensive.
Yeah. Yep, cheap and good food. All right, so plot synopsis. After a Detroit magazine selects Al as the city's most eligible bachelor, which is not true, women begin constantly flirting with him, causing him to lose sight of his priorities, making Eileen jealous. But the reasons for the flirting may not be what they seem. Skagary 66.
What is that? What? I don't know.
I've got a lot of questions.
They're actually exactly what they seem, I would say.
Wow.
It's kind of a foreboding ending. I don't necessarily... Did we miss something major in this episode?
Skagary is just trying to keep us on our toes and our toes.
Toes.
Sunday night is pretty much the same as Friday morning.
Yeah, it's great. It's weird how we're just kind of bad whenever we do it. Yeah. It doesn't matter what time.
Consistent, though.
Yeah. You want to open?
Sure. We're on Tool time. I guess it's after show. They're kind of talking about how it went Tim and Al are bickering. Tim overcharged a battery and it's smoking and hot. Just the usual hijinks between those two. Heidi brings out the Detroit Life magazine. And she says...
That evidently everyone's reading.
Yeah,
it's Detroit's hottest magazine.
They've must have high subscription numbers. Because, every single person we see has read it. Heidi asked them, guess who the top bachelor in the area is? And they guess Marv, which is somebody on the show.
Nope. Somebody else.
Nope, it's Al. So Tim starts reading the article. Al is really enjoying it, basking in this new news. He does get a kiss on the cheek from Heidi as well.
Little smooch. We should note that Al's number 9 of 10.
Yeah, so it's not the top bachelor.
Right, yeah, that seems to be kind of lost throughout the episode, but yeah, he makes the list, which is great.
Yeah, he's labeled Mr. Fix-It.
Oh, yeah.
There's kind of like I feel like Tim's making fun of him like an older brother in this scene type of situation. Some nice sibling rivalry going on. Tim is mentioned in the article as well, but it kind of is, we haven't released the Brett White interview, but it's kind of the same thing that we talked about in some of his articles where Tim is kind of overblown and macho and Al really brings him back down to earth and plays the other side. So
and it mentions it. The scene ends with Al saying that Tim, or the article referencing that Tim is accident prone, and then he grabs this smoking battery and drops it. So
I'd say that article's 100%
apt, well written.
Batting one for one.
It's just a huge subscription base, like you said, because as we go on, there's not a person in anyone's lives that seem to have not been aware of the article.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the McGurns are the only people who don't read it, but who knows?
Hey, McGurns, read this article. All right. Read this article, Terminator.
Oh, man.
All right. Next scene. Tim's helping Mark, or trying to help Mark with his math homework.
Boy, is he.
But he's not especially successful. Tim's not a mathematician. There's a reference to Mark has an assignment for English class about the most interesting person that he knows, or most interesting person in his life. Tim kind of automatically assumes it's going to be him. Not sure why, but he takes it and runs with it.
He just wants that, the son reveres his father. He thinks he's still in that stage, and he's not.
Yeah, he's not. Randy comes in and roasts him. Is Brad in this episode at all?
For one short moment that I remember, which Jill comes in with Brad in the scene, and I think they talk about. I think Tim asks, who's the most interesting person you know, Brad?
Oh, you're right, yeah.
He also agrees.
Before we get to that. But, no, Mark says, I think I'm going to do it on Wilson. Wilson had dinner with Einstein, which we're going to talk about logistically a little later on. I don't necessarily know if those dates add up. Tim, he's a little bit butthurt about it. And, yeah, like you said, Brad does come in. He says, Brad, who do you think is the most interesting person you know? He also says Wilson. And then they kind of head out. Around the same time, Jill comes in and, she got a hold of the article.
Duh.
I don't know how.
Everybody was talking about it at the office or wherever she's at, so...
And I don't know, they just kind of end by talking about that. Tim continues to sort of make fun of Al. He's not jealous necessarily, he just is sort of... I didn't get the vibe that he was jealous. He doesn't really understand it, but Jill says that she does, and Tim says...
Sexiness comes from the inside.
Yeah, okay, Jill, sure.
Next day, we're back on Tool Time. And Tim introduces Al, and women are fawning all over him in the audience. They start cheering when he's introduced. It's all that good stuff. There's signs. They have "Be My Valentine," "I'm the gal for Al," and then there's also one that says "For a good time, call."
Yeah.
So they're just...
Make no mistake about it. These ladies are horny. It only gets more so later on. I mean,
it's that classic heightening that you love so much.
Yeah, it's wild, and I mean the women and their interruptions, it just completely derails the show,
Sure does. Tim wants to talk about French doors. They want to talk about Al. Tim is constantly fighting with the audience, like you said. They wanted to get a perfect view of Al, and Tim at some points is blocking them. They start to ask really weird questions, like what kind of doors does Al like? Has he been married before? There's also an appearance by Lucy Liu here.
I know, that was insane. I thought it was her. And then I was like, no, there's no way. That couldn't be her. Because it's just kind of an innocuous, at the end she has, what do you remember
she asks what kind of windows Al likes a woman to have.
That's crazy. And then I saw it on IMDb. I'll do a quick Lucy Liu bio, if you don't mind.
Perfect.
Hey, she's big, man.
I know, it's just funny.
It's just bizarre. It was just surprising. It was her. Lucy Liu, 94 credits to her name. Best known for Kill Bill Volume 1, Charlie's Angels, which is a bad movie I've seen a lot of times for whatever reason. I don't know. I think it must have played a lot on TV because I've seen it a lot. Chicago and Elementary. Which is I guess it's a Sherlock Holmes type show, which is ongoing, it seems. So 124 episodes of that on CBS, where good actors go to die. No offense. Other roles.
I like how you throw no offense at the end. Like that's fine.
Completely offensive. It's completely offensive. Southland. What else here? Scrolling through. Maya and Miguel. I don't remember that. Oh, she was on Joey. Did you ever watch Joey?
Is that the one with Joey from Friends? Yeah, I've never seen it. Yeah.
She's also in Kill Bill Volume 2, Ally McBeal. She be acting.
You don't have to read all 94 credits, right?
I like to go through. I like to make sure I didn't miss anything big. I always read the few at the top, but I want to give a little bit more context. So no, it was super super strange to see her pop up here, but cool.
A big surprise. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But basically all the women are there for Al, pretty much the entire audience. It derails the show. Tim is getting frustrated, but not as frustrated as he could be. They're asking questions, talking about French doors. Al is, he's engaging enough. He's not trying to shut it down by any means, as he could be. But I thought it was kind of funny. I don't know. I enjoyed this. What do you think?
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I think it's. At what point do they start kicking these women out because they can't record a show or something?
Yeah, I mean, this very much doesn't exist in the real world. This kind of scene.
No, and then the scene ends.
But I mean, hey, it's home improvement, man. We're not here for realism.
Nah.
Or are you? Are you here for realism?
No, I'm here for man improvement, actually.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Male improvement. Sorry.
Male improvement. Yes.
The scene ends with just completely flipping the normal script here because Al has caused an accident on stage. And no one was hurt, but the framing of the doors and the windows and such has fallen through because he was distracted.
Yeah, that's how that goes.
Yeah, so
that's that, man.
We better get him on track, otherwise Tim might die.
Yeah, seriously, Tim needs Al. Next scene is it's a doozy.
Boy,
it's long. It's I think half the episode.
Yeah, that's about right. Because
I was glad they didn't reuse. They're at a fancy restaurant. I was glad they didn't reuse the Chez Pierre set again. Nice to see him in a different setting.
What did it get turned into the second time?
That's an interesting question.
Was it like a barbecue joint or something?
Oh,
was it Porquets?
I think it was Porquet Pigs.
Yeah,
my pick. Why? I don't know. I know they reused it though.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, they're out to dinner. Al and Eileen, Jill and Tim, they're on a double date. It's the 15th month anniversary for Al and Eileen.
Kind of funny.
Did you notice that as they're doing cheers and stuff here with their wine glasses, no one will cheers Tim?
Yeah, that was good. Tim's really funny in this scene.
He's kind of funny in the episode.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. And then, I don't know, they're talking about 15 months, and then they cheers to it, and then Tim says, I want pork. It's just I don't know. It doesn't really make sense in the context, but I liked it.
Well, he doesn't like all the attention not on him, so he's doing his best to get it on him, and it's just not working. And I think it's great. It's great. Al, I noticed this. Al has a ring on his left ring finger. What would that be?
Maybe he forgot to take off his wedding ring or something.
Maybe him and Eileen have a promise ring. Maybe
that's a 15-month ring.
Ah, well, yeah, no, I guess I didn't. That was a very 90s thing. Yeah,
his actions do not corroborate that kind of story. But
no, he can take that off as far as I'm concerned.
Seriously, he's a grade A jerk in this scene. Waitress comes up, and I mean, it's basically building on the last scene. They're all sitting at a dinner table, and woman after woman comes up and kind of derails everything, and also bizarrely just ignores Eileen, but we'll talk about that. The first one is a waitress, and she's going through her spiel and talking about the specials, and she's like, I'm single, I'm looking for a relationship, and I like long walks on the beach. And, is it funny? Is it not funny? I guess I liked it.
The thing that's funny to me is when she talks about the oysters.
Oh, yeah, she talks about the oysters, and she shucked them herself, and then, he orders, and then she sprints off, which is a reoccurring gag, she's only interested in taking his order.
Yeah, and Tim is trying to get the pork. That's all he wants.
Tim just wants some pork. Just call your neighbor Joe Morton.
Yeah, they didn't think that.
I would think he's got a freezer full of pork.
I would say so.
Yeah, I don't know. Why not?
What a mistake.
Next scene, or not next scene. This we're not skipping.
You're not getting out of that easy.
No, we're not getting out of the scene for a while. What did I write next? If you want to pick it up, you can.
Eileen shares that women are kind of flocking to him everywhere. I don't know how much of a difference there is between the Tool Time show and this dinner, but there's been some time where they've been out and this has been happening. And another woman comes up and wants an autograph and leaves him with her number. And this is when Jill mentions, like, can you believe that woman, like, doing that right?
Yeah,
like, Eileen's right there.
Yeah, they're super rude. It's pretty awkward. That woman comes up and she's like, "I love your show," and Al says, "Yeah, Tim and I work pretty hard on the show." And she's like, "Who's Tim?" Yeah, it was working for me. Then we get a third woman. The third woman.
Well, Eileen starts talking about recent orthodontist news.
Yeah, super boring. Don't test me.
Instead, she does test Al, and Al fails by waving to another fawning woman.
Al is, up until this point in the episode, you could kind of be like, well, Al's all right. But this was when...
Yeah, he crossed the line.
Yeah, he crossed the line. He went a step too far. He's waving back, and this is where he claims he has a responsibility to his public.
Wow.
He sounded like something Tim would say.
Sounded like something that you hear at the royal wedding.
You want to talk about that at all? Did you watch?
I didn't, unfortunately, but I know my mom did. That's for sure.
Your mom's into it?
She's definitely into it.
Yeah, they like big parties.
I heard that the Archbishop or whoever did the wedding.
Yeah, I saw a skit on SNL about him. I don't know.
He was the real winner.
Yeah, winning. He won the internet. No, I don't know. Yeah, there was like movie theaters were like showing it around here and stuff. I don't get the appeal, but
we don't have our own monarchy, so we got to find it somewhere. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to waste my time on watching the royal wedding when I can record a weekly home improvement podcast.
Yeah, we've got bigger fish to fry.
It sort of seems stupid. Like, come on. All right, so Eileen, she goes to powder her nose. She heads that means going to the ladies' room, Jordan, in case you didn't know.
Wow.
Jill follows, and this is where, if we had a Wilsometer, it would read 99 because... a fourth woman, she's broken her heel, and she wants Al to fix it. And I tell you what, man.
It gets hot in that restaurant. Like, if you've got a steak on your table and it's rare, it's well done now.
Well, I saw them slapping cold steaks on the table. They're just cooking themselves. Crazy. No, Al happens to have a kit with him that will fix the heel. And
convenient.
She's saying all these things. I heard you're good with your hands or whatever. She kicks her leg right up in his lap, and this is where Al kind of just becomes a sleaze. He's complimenting her. It
starts with her ankle, then calves, then thigh, and then Tim.
Let her not go any farther.
Tim has a lot of good lines in this episode.
It was a well-written Tim episode. And you know where this is headed. This is Three's Company-esque. Eileen comes out, and she's pretty livid, Jordan.
Oh, Al throws the woman on the floor because he is shocked. He didn't expect her to be back, I guess, for hours. I don't know.
He must have thought she was taking like a big crap or something because he was just not ready.
No, he wasn't. And then he goes on to introduce the two women, and Eileen is his friend, and then eventually good friend. And then Eileen says, "I'm your girlfriend." And she's out of there after that. I mean,
yeah, totally.
That's the straw that broke the camel's back.
I'm surprised she waited that long. She was pretty patient.
Yeah, yep. Al chases her down.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I did not expect this at all, and I laughed.
Take this one.
I laughed very hard. As Al is chasing her out, a man turns from the table and says, "Hi, Al."
Can you believe a gay guy on Home Improvement? Wow, the audience was floored. It's kind of absurd that got such a big laugh, but
it was
the audience of the era really loved it
for sure. I mean, knowing what we know about the show, I did not expect it at all.
No, has there ever been like a gay character on Home Improvement to this point? I wouldn't think so. I mean, not that this guy is a character by any means, but like any like representation.
Yeah, why don't you give his credits?
What was his name? I'd like to. I worry about what he's credited as.
Oh yeah, that was probably bad.
Yeah. Can you think of any other examples of that? I mean, certainly anytime they would do it, it would be played as a punchline, but I can't even think of another gay character.
No, the only thing I can think of that at all resembles like anything like in that realm was when Tim dressed up as a woman or something.
Yeah. Oh, and he's doing like...
He's like trying to be a grandma or something.
Yeah, no.
And that's not even remotely close.
That's not even in that realm. Yeah, we're not... Yeah, so... no, that guy doesn't have a... I'd like to give his credits,
that's
but
too bad. You know, let's stay at the restaurant because this is such a great scene.
Yeah, I mean, we cut to commercial, but we come back and we're still at the restaurant. They haven't even ordered yet.
I wish this was a product placement for a restaurant. That would have been well paid. Like, they would have made a lot of money because it's just taking up so much of the scene.
That would have been cool.
Later at the restaurant, Tim is eating butter packets.
He's that hungry.
Yeah, this woman has not come back to get their orders.
We've all been there.
Yeah, of course. He's alone
the butter packet thing specifically.
He's also alone at the table. So Jill comes back with some news. They're still talking outside, which I guess surprised me. I assumed that she would just be gone and we'd get an Al scene here, but we do not away.
No.
So Tim says...
This is where Tim kind of...
Yeah, this is where Tim becomes a tool, man.
And that's where you reuse a alternative title. Yeah, I would have just preferred that Tim not make this very brief sort of turn towards being just sort of a sleaze as well. But, he does.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean...
Yeah, basically Tim tries to defend Al, and he says it's every guy's fantasy to have all these women, women throwing themselves at you, et cetera, et cetera. Jill kind of scolds him and, tells him he's being an idiot, whatever. And then Al comes back in. Eileen has officially left. And again, I say, Eileen, she really, respect yourself a little bit more and get out of there sooner because you didn't need to stick around this long. You deserve better.
Yeah, I mean, she waited around longer than I would have. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and you've been in similar situations, right?
I mean, I don't want to bring them up.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Well, we'll talk about it off air.
I mean, my wife is there.
If you want to talk about it, we can edit this out. But Al comes back in, and he, Jill tries to scold Al as well, and he says, I don't think I did anything wrong. He's become arrogant, cocksure, for lack of a better word. And, this is just not the Al we know and love.
No, it's breaking my heart.
Yeah, I agree.
And Tim is falling in line with Jill's way of thinking now. And basically, I think there's a line where Al says, well, what do you think, Tim? And he says, well, I think you better ask Jill. So.
Oh, yeah. What do I think? Ask her. Because he keeps, foot in mouth.
Foot in mouth. He's got that syndrome going on. That's the end of the dreaded restaurant scene.
I liked it. It was funny.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a good place to be for most of the episode, I guess. A lot going on. Instead, we go back to the homestead, and directly outside that homestead, Wilson...
What a subversion this scene really is,
It's kind of what you were hoping for. So Wilson's outside, and we're going to play a clip of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get ready to have your mind subverted.
What are you doing, Wilson?
Well, Randy, I'm making an alpenhorn. You see, in Switzerland, they use these to herd sheep.
Are you getting a sheep?
Actually, I'm making it to play in the local alpenhorn quintet, and you boys are welcome to come out this Saturday, be my guests at the annual Horn and Yodel Fest.
Sounds like a rockin' good time, Wilson, but I'm already going to that clarinet and noodle fest. Hey, Wilson, can I talk to you?
Well, yes, I'm all ears, Mark.
I had this report due on the most interesting person I know. And I picked you.
Why, Mark, I am so flattered.
Did you really know Einstein?
Oh, I not only knew him, I had dinner with the great scientist.
Wow.
Oh, yes, indeed. It was over appetizers, and he regaled me with his theory of relativity, and then when the main course came, he spoke of other great theories. Mark, are you familiar with photons?
Sure. I slept on one at my friend Jimmy's house.
No, Mark, I think you're speaking of photons. See, according to Einstein, light consists of energy packets called quanta, which later became known as photons.
Well, that's great, Wilson. But, can you tell me something about him that's interesting?
You know, Mark, I'm thinking physics may not be your cup of tea. Mark, what are you interested in?
Oh, lots of things. Cars, tools, sports.
Hey, guys. You know, Mark, I may not be the person you want to speak to about this.
Gotcha, Wilson. Hey, Dad.
What?
Have you ever had dinner with any interesting people?
Oh, you bet, Felix Mime and the Great Plumber.
You see, Mark, that's a lot more interesting than Einstein and his theory of relativity.
Right. Felix had a theory called clogativity. It has to do with toilet paper and toilets. Yeah, it's a smelly theory, but it's really kind of neat, you know? He came with this thing with enough air pressure, you could shatter porcelain with one blast.
So yeah, I mean, this subversion that you've been alluding to, Randy and Mark pop up over the fence, and they see Al. Well, if Al was there, that'd be trouble.
Jordan, what the hell are you talking about? It's Wilson. Do you know
I'm talking about an Alpenhorn.
It's the fence. We do this every week. Yeah, the Alpenhorn.
Not Al, the Alpenhorn. There's a horn there that apparently Wilson has carved, and he is using it for like a yodel fest that he's going to go to. Mark wants to talk about the report that we talked about earlier.
Randy very quickly is like, I'm out. Deuces.
I'm
this is weird.
Why is he there to begin with?
No idea. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
No. So Wilson's flattered once he learns that Mark has chosen him to be the most interesting man that he knows. And they chat a little bit about Einstein. Wilson explains...
Pump the brakes. So this is... I looked up because, I don't know, I wasn't completely aware of the era at which Einstein lived, but Einstein died in 1955. Mm-hmm. This show is existing in 1995. So how old do we think how old's Wilson supposed to be on the show, is my question.
Maybe like 50?
50?
Yeah.
So that would mean that...
He would have been 15
he was
at
like
the
10,
oldest.
He was like 10 years old when he met Einstein?
Yeah. I mean, it's plausible, no?
He's talking about having appetizers with him. I mean, yeah. I suppose that when they wrote these lines, they didn't think anybody would do the math or dive in deep. But we're talking about a very young Wilson having appetizers with Einstein, and I don't know, it struck me as being a little odd. It seemed, I don't know, I just don't buy it. It seems made up.
Well, they had to do it because of that Einstein joke earlier in the episode where
it was so good we skipped over it.
He knows so much about gravity, but his hair's sticking up. So you tell me. But yeah, Wilson.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does not. But yeah, a little suspect.
But I mean, at the same time, it also kind of matters, because
this is kind of what we do.
Devil's in the details, Jordan. But
yeah.
Carry on.
Wilson explains some things about Einstein and physics and relativity, but Mark really isn't interested in this.
Photons,
all that good stuff. And then Wilson asks, well, what are you interested in? And he talks about cars and tools and sports. I'm kind of wondering if this is true, but, it makes for a good scene here, I guess. And based on that, he should probably talk to somebody who knows a lot about that stuff. And that's when Tim walks out.
And then Mark realizes, wow, maybe my dad really is the most interesting man in the world after all.
And it's just a heartwarming moment.
Yeah, and then Tim ruins it by talking about Felix Myman's... What does he say?
It's a plumbing fix.
It's a plumbing joke that's like laws of relativity. I don't know. It's a really dumb joke.
It's a poop joke.
Yeah, well, which are usually pretty good. I know they tickle your funny bone.
It would have been better if Felix was there to deliver it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed the message here. It was kind of short, and I found it to be sort of sentimental. So.
Yeah, and we don't get any information about Tim coming out to talk about Wilson to fix this problem. So, what's going to happen? How's it going to get resolved?
Swiftly. In a weird, abrupt way.
Perhaps the next scene?
Yeah, one of them. Next scene. Tool time. Al's late, like an hour. He's not, he's just not even taking his job seriously at this point. And he got a cell phone, which the audience really. Wait, what? That's hilarious.
I think they're just more impressed by the way he has it on his his belt, a holster, and he's.
You remember when I got a cell phone, I got a belt case with it. Those were very much popular. I feel like when we started.
My dad might still have one.
Yeah, that makes sense for your dad. I didn't need one when I was 16.
Does it?
Could have just put. Your dad's a painter. It's good to have access to it.
The pocket.
If you want to go against your
so far away.
If you want to go against your dad, by all means, but just know I'm not going to do it. Okay.
You and Terry have kind of a deal.
His Father's Day is going to happen before long. Just keep that in mind. We don't know when this episode's going to drop. So, did you ever have a clip for your belt?
If I had, I think you sometimes got them when you got a new phone, but I don't think I ever used it if I had.
Well, you also only wore sweatpants, so you probably didn't even own a belt.
Either that or basketball shorts. So
your clothes were so baggy. Yeah, it was.
It was kind of like Brad in this episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you remember that when we saw him for 3 seconds?
Was he wearing baggy clothes?
Probably.
Yeah. You guys do have similar fashion sense. We should do a comparison. Anyways, El Gotta Sell. It's hilarious. It's for all the babes' numbers he's scoring.
Oh, man. And he's taken on this persona. Like
he's feeling himself.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
He's feeling himself. He met some twins who wanted to, I don't remember what leads to this, but some twins that wanted to park him. Could you explain that? That I have?
Well, they met in a parking garage, so I guess El has a parking garage at his apartment, which I guess didn't seem right to me, but I guess he does.
No, me neither.
But yeah, some twins were there waiting, and I don't wonder. Tim says like maybe they were looking for a parking spot. And and that's how he turns the joke. So Al's just got a dirty mind at this point.
They want to park me.
He's very raunchy, overconfident, all those things.
It's like date Mike from The Office. When Michael Scott realizes he's on a date, he puts on the Kangol hat.
I wish we had Date Mike on this.
Nice to meet me. How you like your eggs in the morning? All right. Al's he's arrogant. He's feeling himself.
Cocksure?
Tim,
is that what you like to say?
Yeah, cocksure for lack of a better term. Tim says, you know what? Maybe Jill's right after all. You're just kind of being a jerk. He gives him the perspective that he needed. And then this is a big logistical question for me. All right. So he says, didn't you notice in the article how they added an extra 0 to your salary? Okay. So that means that, like, let's say hypothetically Al's making $30,000 a year. These women thought he was making $300,000 a year on Tool Time, or like $400,000, or like $500,000. Doesn't that seem kind of bizarre?
Again, the details. I don't think they care. They see that rugged beard and they see those dollar signs, and they're like, "I'm in."
Yeah, but you just gotta watch the show to know that he's not making $300,000 a year.
Well, that's why. No one watches the show. That's why there's such a change in persona when this article comes out and like all the girls are fawning and screaming after Al. Al says bad. Before I did want to say Al says it's a big world. Why should I limit myself to Eileen? And there's a couple jokes here about like you talked about Tim's trying to bring him back to Earth. He does it by saying, like, before you were famous or whatever this is. I don't know if it's famous. But Eileen saw you for who you were and loved you. So that's how he's trying to bring him back.
She likes me for me.
Exactly.
Not because I look like Tyson Beckford. No, which Al does not, but
No.
The sentiment. He makes fun of his mother, saying like his only relationship was with his mother as well. Added extra 0, like I mentioned. Al has lost confidence and he's been given perspective. He runs away.
What if that's what he says? I've lost confidence, and now
sometimes the dialogue on this show is bad, so it depends on the given week. You get a Ferber treatment, you might get something like that.
Yeah, no Ferberizing this one. Basically Tim says, "Who loved you before the magazine?" And that's Al knows where to go at this point. Yeah,
and Al's like, "Hey, do you mind if you set up on your own?" And Tim's like, "Yeah, I have been. I'm pretty much done."
And so that's the scene. That's like 3 Tool Time scenes, but 3 or 4 at least in this episode.
I dug it, man.
Yeah. So let's go to Eileen's office then. Do you dig this?
Less so.
You like the aquarium that's in the office, that's for sure.
I didn't even notice it. No. Sorry. Go ahead and take this one, though.
So Al walks in. Eileen has seen a patient, and she's coming out of the office, and she sees Al.
Quick question. Didn't you feel like this patient was going to hit on Al?
I did. I thought there was something that was like cut out or something.
Well, they showed her. Yeah, it makes me wonder because they showed her
face twice.
Yeah. They showed her before she left. She's like, "Come on, honey." She's got her daughter, and like it didn't really make sense to show that unless there was something where he was hitting on her. That struck me as it just. When you watch the scene, it's very awkward.
Yes, it was some strange cutting. Definitely something got left out.
Right.
So Al is here groveling. The receptionist behind the window.
She's loving it, man.
She's loving
so
it.
smiley.
And Al steps away. He's like, let's get a little bit more private.
She's like, my job's so boring that anything tumultuous I'm into.
I gotta see what the boss lady's struggling with this week. And she doesn't get any dirt, though, because like I said, Al moves away.
Right.
He tries to explain he's never been popular, doesn't know how to handle it. And he says the Detroit's sexiest bachelor wants to be with Detroit's sexiest orthodontist, and
she's like, "Yep, sounds good to me."
that's all it takes.
Yeah.
She kisses Al. Al's phone rings. Eileen answers it because she's fed up with all of these women, and it's Tim. So she starts telling him off until Tim says, "Hey, can I get Al back?" The show's about to start. Al then suddenly turns into James Bond. Or something like that.
Or like a superhero, I don't know.
He dips Eileen, kisses her again, grabs his coat, hangs up the phone, and says Tim needs me. And
I'll put his hand up on her hip when I dip, you dip. Yeah. It's fine, but it's weird. At the very end of the scene, Eileen, she doesn't do a fist bump.
Oh, she does a double fist pump.
She's like, yes. She does what Tiger Woods used to do when he was a good golfer.
Is he not a good golfer anymore?
I mean, I don't think he's won a major in a long time. I'm not a big golf fan, but he's not finishing top 5 anywhere. Jordan.
He has a couple times recently, but
Jordan, he'll be fine.
He will be.
He'll be fine.
Are you sure?
But Tiger's gonna be fine. Jordan.
I'm worried about Tiger.
Tiger's gonna be okay. Don't worry about Tiger Woods, okay? But yeah, she does double kind of fist bumps, and it's what are you so I don't know. I don't know what she's celebrating exactly.
She got the old Al back.
Yeah, she should have made him grovel a bit more, though. It was a little too simplistic for me.
Yeah, I mean, we spent so much time in the restaurant, there wasn't enough time.
There was not enough time, yeah.
Unless they did a 2-parter.
Which we're yet to see, but I would love to. I know there's some coming later on.
But they should do it on a very...
But they all involve, cancer.
I know, I was going to say, it needs to be an inconsequential episode to really just be great.
I remember later on in the show, they'll do, 2-parters where, I know that there's one episode where, Jill, kisses another man, and that's definitely going to be a 2-parter. It's I don't want to see 2 episodes of them, bickering with, those kind of problems, but, yeah.
But
right, we'd
be into this one, though.
Yeah, this would have been pretty good. Final scene. Jordan, you can take this one because this seems like a trick you might try to pull. Wise guy like you, little stinker.
Mark and Tim are working on homework again. I don't know why Tim is trying to help. He obviously can't do this. But Mark is going to have him help with a money problem. And it's basically, he starts with $2, and then he's given the rest of the dollars by his dad. And he says, "How much money do you have?" $0. He says, "Exactly, thanks." And, basically steals his dad's money and gets
Problem's
out of
a bit more complex than you're describing, but yeah, basically, more or less. Sure.
Well, that's why it would work on you, because it's so complex.
Yeah, that's true. Roll credits, fade to black. Bachelor of the Year, a.k.a. I didn't know that.
I was going to say you had to turn the page,
a.k.a. Ortho, don't test me.
Either you had to turn the page because you were sick of this episode, or you didn't remember the title.
I had to turn the page back. Episode titles are lost on me because, we make our own better ones. So
yeah, that's true.
The ones I remember. Jordan, how'd you think of this one? Highs and lows?
I had a real love-hate relationship with it. Mm-hmm. Just like Eileen has with Al during this episode. I like a lot of the lines that Tim has. He seems to... When people aren't paying attention to Tim, he seems to, sneak in these little lines that work really well. Again, Brad was in the episode for a second, and Randy's not really present, and I guess Mark steals stuff from his dad, so he's there a little bit. But I think if we had to pick of the 3 boys who had a little bit of a bigger part in the episode, we wouldn't pick Mark.
Disagree.
Disagree hard?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll talk about it. I'll get my chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting premise, I guess. We take Al, the lovable one, and we turn him on his head for a little bit, so you get something a little bit different there. As you said, the resolution is pretty quick and kind of rushed, and I don't really like the fact that Tim, kind of defends him for a little bit before, figuring out that this is...
That is the weakest part of the episode.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Because they don't stick to it long enough, they just do it for a second.
They don't stick to Eileen being mad long enough, and they don't stick to that for long enough. So, again, 2-parter. It needed to be a 2-parter. But yeah, it's not that bad of an episode. I didn't mind watching it twice. I enjoyed talking about it with you. I don't know if that's because I just enjoy talking to you, or because I like the episode.
Jordan, don't get sentimental. Okay.
Sorry.
Right, we got a job to do.
What'd you think?
I like this. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was funny. I felt like I laughed a lot more than I usually do. I agree with most of the negative aspects that you mentioned. But, if I'm laughing in every scene, with this show, what we're doing here, it's a successful episode. So, yeah, for me, Tim had a lot of good lines. It was a good Tim episode. I thought the situations Al was in with the various women, pretty heightened and absurd, was still funny. I even liked the little thing with Mark in the scene with Wilson, kind of him figuring out that, maybe his dad is more interesting than he thinks, or he has more in common with his dad than he knew. So that all worked for me. I agree. Al was a jerk, and we like Al. Tim was briefly a jerk, and Eileen was just sort of weak, or that I didn't buy the turn that she made. But yeah, fundamentally I laughed a lot. So good episode, I'm going to say.
That's all it takes. I guess I don't know if I agree that Mark has a lot in common with his dad, but I don't know.
No, I don't know that. I mean, we just have never seen that.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're operating under the okay, so
when you think of what Mark likes to do, it's like he's in his room playing against
video
the
games,
computer, and chess or something,
Yeah, but I guess what they're doing is okay, so you think in theory Wilson is going to be interesting because he's had to dinner with Einstein, but Mark doesn't.
It's all relative.
Science. Yeah, it's all relative. Mark doesn't care about science, doesn't know about photons or anything like that, so he can just relate more to his dad. We don't. It's not ever set up that him and Tim have a lot in common, but he has more in common with his dad than some kind of bizarre shut-in character who plays what was the instrument?
The alpenhorn. I
was gonna say albatross. That's not right, but I suppose you're right. It still worked for me.
All right. Well, a decent episode. I guess we should move to Sean's social media corner. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that sounds really good, Jordan.
Really, really good?
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything better. So if you'd like to reach out to us, our website is thehomeandpodcast.com. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/homeandpodcast. We're on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @homeandpodcast. If you'd like to donate to the show or support the show, you can go to Apple Podcasts, iTunes, leave a review. If you'd like to be like Sarah this week, you can donate to us. Go to patreon.com/homeandpodcast, and you can support us for as little as $1 a month and get behind-the-scenes episode or little outtakes, and anything that we put up that's extra goes up there. And then we also have the Home Improvement reboot script that Adam wrote. You're not going to get one in real life now because they did Last Man Standing, so this is the best thing that you're going to get. And it's worth $1 a month, I'd say.
I think worth $100 a month, frankly.
So you're getting a great deal.
Blood, sweat, and tears I put into that thing.
Yeah, wow. So definitely reach out to us. And thank you again, Sarah, for your donation. Adam, what's going on Twitter?
Twitter poll this week, Jordan. 29 total votes, which is quite a bit. Which late-night host do you prefer? And it was quite split. 17% said Conan. 21, nope, that's a mistake. Let's recalibrate. 17% said Colbert, 21% said Kimmel, 24% said Conan, and oddly enough, 38% said Fallon, who would have been probably my least favorite.
People like his games.
They do like his games. I voted Kimmel. I'm guessing you would have voted for Conan, or perhaps did.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't dare vote in our own poll.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I know you're staunch objector to that. But yeah, I was surprised by that. But thanks for the votes.
Did you talk about the Last Man Standing poll that you did?
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of super uninteresting. I did a poll. I don't even need to pull it up. Would you listen if we did the Last Man Standing episode? 12 total votes, 50-50. So. Yeah, I don't really know what to do with that, Jordan, I guess.
We try to do these polls to have, information to go on sometimes. Answers?
Yeah.
It seems like you guys are leaving it up to us, and...
I mean, I guess if left up to me, I would probably do it just because it's something different. But, yeah, I mean, certainly no one seems to be pining for it. That's for sure.
No, this isn't a Last Man Standing podcast, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I suppose not. But, Yeah, otherwise, nothing major on here. You said we had some Facebook action, or nothing worth mentioning?
Oh, I think we just had a comment. We had a comment from Laura that said that Jay Leno, along with being on an episode of Home Improvement, was also on an episode of Last Man Standing. So
yeah, and I also posted something on Twitter about Tim being on the Jay Leno's Garage show. So they're pals. They're doing a lot of crossover stuff. And yeah, I mean, obviously last week it was super exciting to have Jay Leno. So this episode, kind of a hangover episode as a result, because just don't quite reach those highs, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was still enjoyable, luckily. But
we hear about this guy, the ninth best bachelor in the city. It's getting worse.
It is. The longer you do it.
Lispier and, less coherent. Yeah, but Jordan, anything else we need to cover here? We're good?
I think it's time for your question of the week.
I don't know, I worried you'd say that. Okay. Jordan.
Yeah.
I like our call and response. Hey, Jordan. Hey, what? This episode's called Bachelor of the Year.
It is.
I remember now. Earlier, I toyed around with doing a Bachelor-esque, the Bachelor reality show. I wanted to do a title based off that. I couldn't think of anything, but I wanted to ask you, what reality TV shows do you currently watch? Have you ever watched? Do you have a relationship with?
Do I have a relationship?
Yeah. I'm going to put it in the most broadest of terms so you can have some kind of an answer.
Right now I watch zero.
Okay.
Ones I have watched before, I watched The Voice for maybe like a season or two. Mm-hmm. I watched one season of The Bachelor and one season of The Bachelorette. That was pretty brutal.
How'd that go?
You know, it broke my heart. They didn't pick the people I thought they should, so that was tough. I remember in high school, one of the things that our business teacher did is we got to watch The Apprentice.
I know. I was going to talk about that too, which now seems just sort of crude and cruel in retrospect. But yeah,
I would have never guessed what would have happened.
I know
to the host of that show.
Right.
American Idol. I think everyone kind of watched that when it first came out. And everyone did their little foray with Jersey Shore for maybe a couple episodes. But yeah, I mean, besides Kid Nation, none of them really ever stuck with me.
I would argue Kid Nation didn't stick with you so much as its memory, you know?
Yeah, no, there's not really any that I watch right now. I don't know if they're just not really my favorite thing. I don't like them very much. What about you?
Do you feel like you're better than you're above it, kind of?
No,
I
don't know.
Do you look down on people that watch reality TV?
No, I just don't think because I don't really know the people. I don't know.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I'm one of those people who will watch, like, if I know the actor, I'll probably just watch all their movies because I like that actor or actress. Yes. These people are just like, and you and me. Well, not just
Jordan,
like you and me. No one's like you and me. I'm just going to take over for you. Jordan, because you're floundering here. You're getting sweaty. Am I?
You're nervous. No, I'm just
I don't feel nervous.
Well, I think I stumped you when I said that you look down on people that watch reality TV. But Jordan,
because I instantly said no.
Yeah, you seem nervous. If you were hooked up to a lie detector, I think it might have shown some scratching.
Beep, 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 beep.
Jordan, I don't currently watch any reality shows, but I do. Kirsten and I enjoy the Joel McHale show on Netflix, which is essentially just like an updated version of The Soup.
Okay.
So he's showing a lot of reality clips and kind of making fun of them. So I like that. In terms of reality shows I've ever enjoyed, I definitely watched the first season of The Jersey Shore in college. Kind of unironically, I just sort of enjoyed it. Like you said, everybody watched American Idol. My parents loved American Idol when it came out. I've not ever really gotten into Bachelor. I do remember watching kind of a raunchy version of The Bachelor called Temptation Island with my mom when I was 12.
Oh, boy.
And it was, look it up. It was crazy.
They still have that. Isn't it like Bachelor in Paradise or something?
Maybe it's probably similar. I don't know if it's the same thing. And I remember watching this in like high school. I don't know why this kind of stuck with me, but I watched this show called The Surreal Life, which was kind of like, and Vern Troyer just passed away, unfortunately, but he was on it, and it was just like kind of a bunch of has-been sort of celebrities, and they just like would fight and Vern Troyer got really drunk and like peed in a corner and stuff, and it was just celebrities kind of being shit shows. But I got very into that for a little while as well.
Wow, that sounds pretty wild.
It's actually depressing in retrospect, but I thought it was fun. Man, I don't know. It seemed
at the time you were like, this isn't me. I was
like,
so.
oh, these people are losers. Yeah, this is hilarious. Revel in their sadness. No.
Did you ever watch or have you ever heard of Married at First Sight?
I've never heard of it, but I can guess what the concept is.
It just seems crazy to me that people would like make such a big decision like that without ever meeting someone.
Yeah, how often do they stick together?
I don't, I've only seen a couple, and I think maybe one of them stayed together, but then there's usually like 6 months later and something crazy has happened, so
let me ask you this.
Doesn't usually work well.
Do we call House Hunters reality TV? Does that fall under the umbrella? Because that would be my answer. I don't know.
Yeah, I do like House Hunters. I don't know. I guess I always think of like reality TV as either like more. It's hard because like I think of The Bachelor and like obviously some of that stuff is so staged.
Fake.
But the idea is that it's not. So I don't know because
wow, this. Now
we've gotten what is a reality show?
Introspective question of the week. I mean, generally it's like, what's your favorite sandwich? But
those were the good old days. Now we got to tackle the tough topics.
Yeah, I know, like reality TV. Jordan, I guess we're never going to have that answer. At least not tonight.
Yeah, let's. We don't have to know everything. So
no, we just have to. We're just here to talk home improvement. And next episode on home improvement, Jordan, I happen to know we're talking about "It's My Party" or "It's
Aaron's
My Party." Aaron's Party, come get it.
No. I hope so.
Which will almost certainly be enjoyable. So
I hope it's Jill's party and Tim ruins it because that sounds about right.
I can tell you that I'll give you a little hint. It's one of the boys. So I'm not going to say any more than that. Okay.
All right.
Don't force me to.
I wouldn't dare.
That's what we're covering next week. Jordan, thank you for joining me. Listeners, thank you for listening. I want to thank Pork Gay Pig of Lansing for sponsoring this week's episode. Hopefully that checks in the mail. And take care, everybody.
Take care.